know what the problem is, right? It's the fact that everybody thinks they've got it all figured out. But if we're being honest, in the short period of time I've been on this rock, there's one thing I've realized. We don't know shit. First open on this inaugural show, or this first show, we have my longtime best friend. Longtime best friend, Impact superstar, headed to Bound for Glory this weekend. By the time this post, it'll probably be all over with. You'll probably still be champion. The X Division champion, the one and only, the Golden Draw, Jake Crist.
What's happening, my friend?
Oh.
Enjoying your beer?
Enjoying my beer. So what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Just living life and loving it.
Living life and loving it.
How about you?
Hey, man, I can't complain. I'm doing the same thing. You know, balancing this life of wrestling, podcasting now, art, family.
Everything.
Chaos. Perpetual chaos is what it is. So, like we were talking about, you're headed to Bound for Glory this weekend.
Chicago, baby.
That's right, Chicago. So, what do they got you doing? Who are you fighting?
Ladder match. I'm in a 5-way ladder match. 4 of us has been announced. The 5th is a mystery.
The 5th is a mystery. I like a good mystery. And as I was saying, you are the X Division champion. And where can they see you now? What is it, Access TV?
Access TV on Tuesday nights.
Tuesday nights?
8 o'clock, baby.
I
8
got
o'clock.
See, I got that. You fill in that Tuesday time slot. I like it.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, girl.
Yeah, fill that time slot. Fill it good. So
I like filling slots.
Oh, my God. We got the libations flowing. And we're going to talk about some interesting things. Us growing up essentially in the stone's throw away from one of the most famous places when it comes to UFOs, and that would be Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and Hangar 18. For everyone who doesn't know, Hangar 18 allegedly is where they took the some debris, some bodies, from the legendary Roswell crash.
Right.
And like I said, Hangar 18 is located on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. But aside from that, how do you feel about aliens?
Well, I go back and forth because, I want there to be aliens, there can. Sorry, I'm
it's okay.
knocking everything over.
Listen, this is a shoddy setup to say the least. So.
Be aliens out there, like we haven't even discovered all the oceans. There's fish that we're still pulling out that we haven't discovered. So to think that space and the universe or galaxies or there's no life form is kind of crazy to me, right? But also on the same hand, I want there to be.
Yeah, you want there to be. And do you think because you want there to be, you may overlook evidence that there's not, or you just hope for hope?
Well, I go back and forth. Some days I believe, some days
you don't. You're not sure.
You know what I mean? Why would everyone want to cover up all this stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you seen the news lately? I mean, I know you travel a lot, and you probably don't get to watch a lot of news, but the fact that this has actually been on the news is pretty crazy. But the UFO sightings that the Navy pilots, and they're just now getting released, and they're kind of now that the actual U.S. government's coming out and saying, these are real. And when you have the Navy pilot, in fact, the Navy pilot
Was that like 2004?
I think it was 2004.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I was just listening about this.
yeah, and I believe the guy was just on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way that he breaks it down too is so fascinating because everything that goes into just flying a jet is fucking ridiculous. Physically, mentally, everything that you have to, the mental aptitude that you have to have is crazy. So for somebody like him to come out and say, listen, this is unconventional craft.
Right.
And it's outmaneuvering us, and they were seeing it. Because that was a thing, too, that they had been seeing it for a long time, but they didn't tell these guys.
They didn't tell them. They still sent them on their, what was it, like a training exercise?
It was a training exercise, and they didn't even have any live weapons.
Right.
So there was nothing that they could do outside of pursuing them.
Yeah, because like in the Air Force, I believe they don't use live ammunition because like there's been cases in the past where someone always mix up the controls and someone always gets shot down.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like a liability thing. So, but yeah, now that that's coming out, I think. With this whole Space Force thing, which I know it sounds it sounds goofy
Space
to some.
Force.
Hey, it sounds goofy, but let's go back to the 80s, and you had Ronald Reagan who was doing the Star Wars program, which was defense from space. So, I mean, is it really that big of a leap?
But who knows? Like,
see, this is
it's so touchy. Like, again, like I said, I want to believe that they're aliens. So, like, I'm gonna, jump in on every little detail and be like, "There's gotta be."
You're gonna jump in on the alien bandwagon.
But like, they're still like,
you just don't know.
I just don't know. Also, like, if they had the technology to come here, like,
you think
would they?
Well, I mean, a really popular theory is that it's kind of like if you're familiar with Star Trek at all, the Prime Directive.
I'm not.
Okay. So in Star Trek, they have something called the Prime Directive, which is where, depending on if I remember, I'm not a Trekkie, okay, but I know some of this. Depending on where the civilization is at in their development, will determine whether or not they make contact, like real contact. And some people think that it may be a similar situation to us. Like maybe we're kind of viewed in a similar way that we view, like, Aboriginal tribes in the Amazon, where we don't want to mess with them. We want them just to live the way that they live. And if they start blowing shit up with nuclear bombs, we're going to come see what's going on.
Then we'll flex our muscle.
Yeah. Which has happened. There's been reports of that happening. UFOs flying over nuclear bases and turning stuff on and turning them off, and to the point where I believe the Russians were notified and they thought, it almost caused a nuclear war. I could be wrong on that. It's hard after years of head trauma.
Well,
it's hard to remember.
I know exactly what
details.
you're saying there. When, like, even before we got started, like when we were kids, think about all the head trauma we took in the barn.
Oh yeah, just in the barn days alone.
Insane.
For those who don't know, who aren't familiar, Jay and I, along with his brother and a few others, the way that we were broke into the wrestling business was by an independent wrestler by the name of Bill Kowaleski. And Mr. Bodacious, or Billy. A lot of the old timer guys who we run into, and
Billy.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we know who Billy is. But anyways, he found us. We were really just a bunch of New Carlisle, Ohio trash in my barn where we had built our own ring. I wouldn't say
trash.
We were trash.
A lot of us were.
Yeah. Let's be honest, the stuff that we were doing in our extracurricular activities, there was no drug, like, okay, we didn't do drugs or drink at the time, so we had to find other ways to be delinquents.
Yeah, we were Jackass before Jackass came
before
out.
Jackass, exactly.
If you really think about it, we were jumping in bushes and
we were doing a ridiculous amount of stuff, not even in the ring.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah.
Just imagine what a bunch of kids with their own wrestling ring in a barn.
Right.
And then,
videotaping each other.
And then throw some Jackass on top of that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But I digress. anyways, so yeah, that's my opinion. Do you think that'd be a possibility? Maybe they just watch us, like the whole abduction thing. What do you think about that?
Well, I look at that as like us fishing.
Yeah.
So it's like think about like, you know, we cast our pole, and we finally catch, and we're reeling in, we're pulling, you know, this fish out of its environment. So it's like, imagine what that fish is like thinking and going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably a similar
So it's
thing.
like it's probably so similar to those people that, you know, have been abducted.
Yeah. Or you know, they say, I believe it was Dwight Eisenhower, you know, former president of the United States.
Yeah, whoever that is.
Whoever that is, some dude. So they
What's
say,
he ever done in the business?
They say the legend has it that he met with a group of extraterrestrials on a U.S. military base.
Do you believe that?
I don't know, man. I think it's an awesome story. But the part of that story is that he made a deal that they would offer us technology in exchange.
Is that how we got the iPhone?
Dude, I will say this.
Think about it.
So being that we are from the Dayton, Ohio area, and we have Wright Patterson Air Force Base, we also have access to the Air Force Museum.
Right.
So what I tell my kids, what I tell my wife, or anybody who's experienced it for the first time, I take them through and I show them like leading up, all the planes leading up to the stealth bomber and any of the stealth planes. So you look at when the stealth planes were built, and it was in the 60s. So look at that huge leap in technology from the early 60s to when the stealth bombers hit, or the stealth planes in general. And it looks
the
like
stealth bomber hit?
It was once again, I'm an idiot. It was, I want to say mid 60s. I want to say mid 60s.
Okay, mid 60s. And has there been any other, like, I'm not familiar with planes and stuff of that nature. Like and to be honest, it's not like I go looking for answers.
Right.
Like, I just believe that there's aliens, and that's it for me. So I like to learn. You're learning me here.
Well, I mean, luckily for you, I'm interested in all this shit.
Right,
okay?
right.
Really interested. Not just aliens, but a lot of things. You know that.
Sasquatch.
So I got the Bigfoot and the Yahweh and all the.
Your feet are big.
They're all right. You know what they say about guys with big feet, right?
No.
You got some big socks. Trust
big
me.
shoes to fill.
That's right. But so if you were to compare planes around that time, the ones that came out just right before that, those were released, and those were being tested for years. I mean, the planes seem pretty antiquated compared to the stealth bombers. But the reason why I bring those up is because I believe it was the mid to late 50s is when the Roswell crash happened.
Yeah, that was what, 1945, right? 19...
It was either the 40s or the 50s.
1947.
I feel like I should have had like show notes.
I think it's 1945.
I'm totally just coming off the top of my head. I know 45 was still World War II. And they say the Germans, the Germans, that's another funny thing too, because of how advanced their technology was. Now, do you know who Wernher von Braun is?
I believe I've heard the name.
Okay, yeah, well, you should, because he essentially it was NASA. Okay, so Wernher von Braun, most notable for being part of NASA, but he was also a German who was part of Project Paperclip. Now, Project Paperclip is where they brought all these German scientists over after the war. We got some, the Russians got some, etc.
Right.
The problem with Wernher von Braun was the fact that he was Nazi SS and probably should have been brought up on war crimes. They used to hang the slowest Jews every day.
1947.
Was it 1947? Okay, I was close.
The UFO crash. Yeah, so I had to look that up.
God damn.
Because I thought I was correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close.
1945, 1947, and then there was like a huge cover-up, 1950, where it was like there was like a huge cover up. It was like, why would all these people cover that up?
Well, the thing is the Area 51 for one. It's obvious that it's well known that they tested experimental craft there. S4 is part of the Area 51 where they say the experimental the alien craft is. That's where like the guys like Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar is the guy who came out and said he worked on them. And
worked on the UFOs.
Yeah, worked primarily the propulsion system.
Okay.
Shit, I totally had a brain fart.
Get hit in the head, brother.
I'm telling you, man,
Get hit in
CTE,
the head,
it's a
bro.
real thing.
That's the truth.
But yeah, I think it's one of those. We fast back forward to the Space Force. So what if all this time we've had this technology to really go in space, and it's gonna come out? So now they're you have the U.S. government, the U.S. Navy, the military going, oh yeah, we've seen these things. They're real.
What do you think?
If I
Do you think all this shit's a cover? Oh, am I allowed to curse?
Dude, I've been cursing the whole time.
I'm sorry. It's just I haven't. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I know you used to be on TV, man. It's okay.
But what do you think?
I gotta save that for pay-per-views. I think the government has been covering things up for a long time, not just extraterrestrial life, but everything that may break us away from our the mental paradigm that we've been in for hundreds of years. I mean, there's what else? Okay, we live in a weird state.
Yeah, Ohio, baby. Is it weird or is it amazing?
Well, I mean, perspective. It's all about perspective.
I think it's amazing.
I think it's tremendous, okay? You know the stories I've told you about my dad and where he grew up, and that's a whole reason why I like weird stuff.
Yeah,
Sasquatch,
baby.
Sasquatch.
Maybe we get into that too.
Yeah, we could maybe another episode. We don't want to break off into too many weird tangents.
True.
So the thing about Ohio, outside of the weird UFO stuff, is the Native American mounds. So you're familiar with those, right?
No.
Okay, man. Oh man, you didn't pay.
I'm telling you.
God damn it, you didn't pay attention in school, did you?
Well, yeah, I didn't. You're right.
So when people started settling the Ohio Valley, they were finding all these mounds everywhere. These huge mounds. They were thought to just be regular burial mounds. Well, these settlers who are farmers who don't really give a shit about Native American heritage, etc., and they just thought this was a hill most of the time. They started digging them up, where they were finding giant skeletons in them,
like giant,
like biblical giant. So when they would excavate
like
these,
the Jolly Green Giant,
like the Jolly Green Giant, my friend. So when they would excavate these things, and they would either just discard the bones, sell them. But when the Smithsonian became a thing, they started contacting the Smithsonian. Well, these guys from the Smithsonian would come out, and they'd be like, oh, well, this is an amazing find. We're going to take these and put them on display. And then you never hear about them ever again.
Ever again.
Because it breaks, I assume it breaks some sort of paradigm, or what do they call it? They don't want to upset the status quo. Like, you want to keep people afraid, but you want to keep them afraid of things that you can take care of.
We can control?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, like terrorism. It's like,
can we control that?
Well, they tell, the TSA thinks they can. But how many terrorists have the TSA ever stopped? 0. But that's a whole...
I just need to check your asshole.
Dude, yeah. I couldn't tell you
South Park's amazing.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've been the body scanner and just felt like I was violated.
Yeah, me too, bro.
But then I went through again.
And again.
I kind of liked it the second time.
And again, and I should get me some waffle fries.
For free.
Chicken sandwich.
But yeah,
So aliens. Or, I'm sorry, the mounds. Tell me about the...
But I was using that as an example, like... The way that the government and just the powers that be cover stuff up. But it's like the GI Joes, dude. Man, knowledge is power. The more you know.
G.I. Joe.
Hell yeah. So think about that. If you have control over that knowledge, you can control people to a degree.
Yeah, you're right.
And to jump back to the Roswell crash, the rumor has it that they ended up sending out a lot of this technology to different companies to back engineer, but not telling them what it was or where they got it. They're just like, hey, develop something out of this. Pretty soon we got the integrated circuit board. What is it?
The cell phone? No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
the cell phone.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, think about the cell phone. Look at Star Trek, dude. The original Star Trek, our cell phones are better than what they used in Star Trek. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, FaceTime and stuff.
FaceTime.
Like,
come on.
That's pretty much, or like Total Recall. Total Recall was amazing. I loved that movie growing up. Watched it all the time. It was my first movie I seen with a set of boobies in it.
Yeah.
And it had three
boobies.
boobs, and I thought all women had 3 boobs.
Yeah. Can you know how, man, you can traumatize a young man.
Bro, like, I was traumatized.
This whole time.
I thought the whole time growing up, there was women had 3 boobs.
And then what do you know? When you see him for the first time, you're like, oh my God, she lost a boob.
I was so surprised, bro. Like, where's the third one at? I'm like grabbing for it and stuff. She's like, what are you doing?
We're a bunch of idiots.
Sometimes. Only on the weekends.
Only on the weekends and every day that ends in Y.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my opinion, you know. But I got a lot to say about it.
You like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. Sometimes it keeps me up just thinking about it.
Thinking about it or searching it or both?
Both. I've spent many a nights by myself. I'm sure my wife thought I was in my office looking at porn, but really I was researching hidden H technology.
Hidden H technology.
She's like, do I have to go through your search history? I'm like, no, babe, don't. She goes, what's this ancient alien shit?
Ancient aliens?
Who's this dude with his hair? I met that guy, by the way.
Who?
Giorgio Tsoukalos, the dude with the hair, the aliens guy. They made a meme out of him.
I don't know who that is.
You've seen him. Trust me. He's the guy with the hands.
You
know, the hands in the air, and he goes, aliens.
No,
You've seen that meme.
I haven't. Pull it up.
Dude, do you got the internet?
Yeah. It's on my phone right now. Of course I do. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Well, you know, I just figured he was a pop culture icon that you would probably know who he was.
Yeah. I live under a rock. Like, yeah, you know, I look up in the sky at night. Me and my daughter like to go find the moon.
Isn't the moon an amazing thing?
It is. It is. I like space in general.
It's weird, the moon. Because, you know, they say we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the ocean.
I believe that. Let's
see. And you know the moon doesn't rotate?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Have you ever heard the phrase, the dark side of the moon?
Yeah. Is that the dark side?
Okay, so the side that we see is the side that's always facing the earth. Now, I've had an argument with my wife about this. Because she goes, no, it rotates because, you know, as you know, my wife is Australian. So from her, she says from her perspective in the world, that she sees a different side of the moon. I'm like, bullshit, because the moon doesn't rotate.
Yeah.
But see, my wife, she has a superpower, okay? I'm going to tell you what the superpower is.
All wives have superpowers.
So she will say something with such conviction that you believe it right offhand. Like, oh, well, I mean, she said
That's
it like she meant
fact.
it. This dude right here.
Yeah, that's the first time I'm seeing him.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? This is the first
Yes.
time you've ever seen Giorgio. You've never seen this meme before.
Never. Who is that guy? I don't know who that is.
I'm absolutely blown away if you've never seen this meme.
Really haven't.
Good Lord, man. But yeah, she says something with such conviction that I just believe it. And then later on, I'll go looking up and I'll be like, that was total bullshit. And I'll be like, you were bullshitting me. And she goes, oh, yeah, I guess.
I'm trying not to burp in the microphone.
Yeah. Who cares? Who knows? Who knows if anybody would even listen to this?
Well, hopefully.
This could absolutely go nowhere. But hold on, I got to turn this dude's face off. Yeah, like I said, I met him.
So what's that all about?
Giorgio Tsoukalos. Is
he like some scientist dude?
He wrote a few books on ancient aliens. Okay, and then when the show on the History Channel came out, Ancient Aliens, they used him as like an expert, even though he has no background in ancient history. Do you know what his background's in?
What?
Professional bodybuilding. Not being a bodybuilder, promoting bodybuilding shows.
He could tell you how to get the muscles.
I'm sure.
Probably not even that, right?
I'm sure he could. Yeah.
Just jump on the gas.
Not really a nice guy. He probably, I don't know. I've seen him in person. I don't think he's ever been on the gas.
No, I'm just saying that's what he would tell people.
That's probably what he would tell people.
To get into bodybuilding.
As Joe Rogan would say, the Mexican vitamins. Or Mexican supplements.
Oh.
But yeah, that's speaking of the whole ancient aliens thing, it's, it always blows my mind because a lot of people tend to think of it as like a modern, aliens being a modern thing. But really, if you look in the past and like the show went into several times, it seems like it's been going on for thousands of years. They've just called it something different. They've either called it gods or magic, which what do you call a technology that you don't understand? It's like magic.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas and I've seen David Copperfield.
You
and I
have
was
seen
like, that's magic. That's magic.
He's a magic man.
Now you see him, now you don't. He's like a fighting chicken.
But what if I was to come to you? Let's just go back 100 years. What if I was to come to you with this phone right here, and I just start playing music off of it, and they barely got the radio.
You would be a god.
Yeah, they'd be like, "What the hell is this?"
Everyone bowing down to you.
Yeah, they would be amazed. It would seem like magic.
The god of cell phones and music.
The god of music. I believe. Wasn't Lucifer he has something to do with music. I don't know. That's a completely another topic.
Lucifer?
Yeah.
Like the devil?
The devil, yeah. Yeah, he is, we'll save that for another time. We'll save that for
all right.
Religion.
We can just
and
bounce
occult.
all around if you want.
But let me ask you this, Jake Crist, X Division champion.
Nice ring.
Impact superstar.
Even better ring, too.
The Golden Draw.
Yeah, girl.
What would you do if you're woken in the middle of the night by a shaking of the house, a vibration, lights outside your window? You live in a pretty busy neighborhood, so this could be pretty normal. But upon investigation, you realize there's a goddamn spaceship landed in your front yard. And these dudes get out and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And you're like, "What's up, bro?" It's like, "You get on the spaceship, have a good time." What would you say to that?
Like, what do the people look like? Are they typical, like, gray, big-headed, black eyes? Are we talking, like, aliens, like, what's her name? Sigourney Weaver, like, alien?
Yeah, like the xenomorphs,
like,
is what they call them.
What are we talking here? Are we talking, like, green, like...
Let's go classic, big-headed gray, big eyes.
Like 3 foot tall?
Yeah, little dudes. Or dudettes. Maybe they're sexually ambiguous.
Are they offering a really good time?
I mean, it'd be a really good time. Let's see.
If it's a party and it's going to be a really good time, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm there, bro.
Because let's say,
I'm there.
Access TV, Impact's been going out in space, and just going and going and going. They see the golden draw. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like, he knows how to party.
And I party with the aliens.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Man.
But, that's it. Like, they just like, hey, we like the way you party. Come party with us. Like, that's it? Like, what, is there anything?
You mean, would there be any probing going on?
Right. Like, what do I have to do to, because there's always an access fee. You always got to pay the front
Quick
door.
Code Pro. Yeah. Let's say there's a little penetration. Let's say just the tip.
I'm all for a good time. Let's do it.
I mean, it's the 2000s.
Well, are they using protection?
Where they're going, they don't need protection.
I mean, I don't want,
space
alien AIDS or something.
Oh my God, this is really broken down fast, hasn't it?
Space AIDS.
The space.
Don't have, and I would have to have my heart pills with me because I don't want to have a heart attack in space. Because there's no doctors and no one can hear you except for the aliens and they want to kill you. So don't have a heart attack in space.
I think we've been drinking quite a bit.
I think we need another.
I agree. Well, I tell you what, Jake Crist, on that note, I say we wrap it up. And I have no idea how long we've been going. Guys, once again, if you like this, like and subscribe. I'm getting used to saying that, even though it's really weird to me. And
click the like button.
Yeah, click the like button. Hit the bell for notifications if you're watching on YouTube. But more importantly, go to liveparanormal.com, and that's where you can not only find more of this podcast, but other podcasts that are related to even crazier stuff. And Jake, you got anything else you want to close with, my friend? Bound for glory.
Bound for glory. Obviously, I'm bound for glory.
Bound for glory. I mean, you are the Golden Draw, the X Division champion.
X Division champion that believes that aliens do exist.
You know what? It's 2019. Have you seen the world today?
I believe they're living among us.
Aliens definitely exist.
Ain't that the truth?
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Until next time, I'm Dustin Rayz, and this is Surreal Days.